What's up, guys? Welcome back to Habitual Hobbies. My name is Alex and I'm so happy you guys are here. It is currently 6 p.m. on the 22nd of May and I have 30 minutes. So hopefully that's enough time to give you guys an entire tour of the garden. The container garden and outside garden specifically. I may or may not throw the indoor garden here on the end, depending on how much time I have. So, let's go. I'm pretty sure the garden looks fairly different from the last time I took you guys. So I'm going to put you on the handheld tripod and we'll get going. Alright guys, here we are on the handheld tripod. Let's see what we've got growing. So, directly behind me, first of all, my trellis is done. So this trellis, I'll turn you around so I can point it better. Let's go from this side where it's easier to see. Here is the trellis, right? This post is about 10 feet tall and that one's a little less than 10 feet, so we added the board just at the same height as that one all the way across, and that is 10 feet across. And then these side boards are slanted because this side is shorter than this side. So these boards are 8 feet and go from the top and slant down to this edge. So this is probably, this is pretty level. So that's about how they sit. I guess we didn't quite measure exactly where the poles were going to go when we put them in, so these two back poles are a little bit further apart than these two front poles. So this is also a 10-foot board here in the front, and there's a little bit extra here. But I asked my love if I could leave that there so that I could hang like a flower pot on it or something, so that's staying. But this extra wood at the top, as well as this extra metal at the top in the back, are both going to be cut off so that it just looks more flush at the top. So I had help building this from my love. I chose this trellis because last year I did a basket trellis and I hated it. I thought it was really ugly. It was hard to manage. It made it hard to prune. So I just didn't want to do that this year. So I may have waited a little longer to get my tomatoes in the ground until this was done, but I'm much happier having it this way and waiting than having to do it a terrible way and then redo it when I get the better. So I'm happy with how this turned out. So I guess first, since we're talking about the tomato trellis, I'll go show you that back row of tomatoes. Okay, so this back row, I'm sorry about the sound, I'll move from here as soon as possible, it's the air conditioner, but this back row is mostly tomatoes, and I think there's mostly 2 tomatoes per container, and each leader has its own string leading up to the top. I don't know if you guys are interested, but I'm interested, so I'll go ahead and tell you what kinds of tomatoes these are. I don't even have to look at the tag, these have been here long enough, some of them. This one is a Thorburns terracotta tomato on the side here, and it has some fruit on it already. This is probably the size of a golf ball. This one's like a large marble, and there's a cluster of flowers up here. There's more flowers right next to this one right here, so obviously we're doing pretty good so far. So these 2 leaders here, this one and this one, this is so bent because it was very long and I took too long to put it in the ground, so it kind of grew that way, but it's fine. It'll be okay. So that one is a Thorburns terracotta tomato. Look, these, you can already tell these have grown since I trellised them. This is the last time I wound it around, and it already needs almost another one. So these are doing pretty good. I'm happy about it. Next to the Thorburns terracotta, this one here is a Dr. Wychee yellow tomato, which is also pruned to 2 liters, and I don't think this one has any actual fruit on it yet. There are plenty of flowers. There's just 3 flowers there, one here with some more small ones, a cluster there that's not bloomed yet. So this one is actually the one I'm the most excited to try. I attempted to grow Dr. Waichi tomatoes last year. They're supposed to be really, really flavorful and a lot more tomato flesh than there is juice, which is what I want in my tomatoes. And I've never tried a yellow tomato, and they're supposed to be very, very good and very sweet. So I'm hoping that that does great this year so that I can actually try it. So after this, well, not after this, actually, in here with the Thorburns Terracotta and the Dr. Waichi yellow tomato, this back here is cilantro that I think has already started to bolt. I'm not sure. I haven't grown a lot of cilantro, so maybe that's just how it looks on the end. This is slow bolt cilantro, and I planted it under the tomatoes in hopes that it would have some shade during the hottest part of the day and bolt on me slower, as well as it being a slow bolt variety. And then over here we have this pepper. My mom bought this for me from our local grocery store, and it came with 2 in it, and when I tried to separate them from the root, they were just really, really root bound together, and I didn't want to separate them because it was difficult, so I just left them together. And this is a California Wonder red bell pepper. I do have California Wonder red bell peppers that I started from seed, and I plan to compare which one does better, the one that I started from seed or the one that was bought for me. So in this next container, we have 2 more tomatoes and another pepper. The pepper is it just says yellow bell pepper, and it has a tiny pepper on it. This is the first time I've seen it. I've not noticed this until right now, so you guys are seeing it at the same time as me. And these tomatoes, this is a Castelluto Genovese tomato. That's an Italian heirloom tomato. That's like the typical tomato that they would use for like a caprese salad. And then this one here, if I can find the tag, try to hide the tags from the sun so that they don't lose the writing. This one is a Sunrise Bumblebee cherry tomato. So these are like yellow orange, a little bit stripy, and they're doing good so far. Here's a little cluster of tomatoes. Another cluster down by the bottom. This one's pruned to 2 liters also, so it's this one here and this one here. There are quite a few flower clusters up closer to the top also, so that one's doing great. And this Castelluto Genovese, I don't think has any fruit on it yet. No, I don't see any fruit, but there's flowers here, a cluster. There's a cluster of flowers up top. So yeah, those are doing good. And the little bell pepper on there makes me so happy. So next we have some leftover celery that I didn't take out. That's just still growing strong, so I'm letting it happen. This is some lettuce that I'm sure tastes bitter by now. It's been out here a while, and I think it's a little bit too shaded. I wanted the tomatoes to shade it, but I think it's a bit too much. And there was broccoli in this container before, so this lettuce has been here for quite a long time. I should probably just compost it. These 2 tomatoes are ones that I did not start from seed. This one is this one's a German Johnson tomato, and this one is a Marglobe tomato. My mom bought me both of those from a local sale recently. I think, yeah, and that's all I have planted in this one. There's just some weeds over here. I don't get that many weeds since I have containers, but when I do get them, at least they're easy to pick out. So the next ones, it's funny, okay? I don't know exactly which ones of these is which. I know what 2 types of tomatoes they are. Oh, this one needs wrapped around a bit. I know what the 2 types of tomatoes are, but I don't know which one is which. These containers are what tells me which is which. So in the greenhouse, I have a group of containers that looks like this, and a group of containers that looks like this. One of them is big boy tomatoes, and one of them is better boy tomatoes. So I don't know which one is which, but one of these is big boy, and one of these is better boy. Both of which are doing pretty good so far. They've got flowers coming on them at multiple spots. Even that one, they are some of the smallest tomatoes I have, but they were probably started at a normal time to start tomatoes, so it's fine. Oh, and in the back here, I have an evening sun sunflower that terribly needs repotted. I don't even know if that's gonna live at this point, but I will try. I'm sorry, sunflower. Next, we have a couple of containers out here that have just been hardening off with these. This is oregano. This is I think this is atomic grape tomato. Yeah, this is an atomic grape tomato that is obviously too dry. I need to water it. And that is Genovese basil. And then these are Kiwano jelly melons that I need to plant soon. Now, as for these tomatoes, I'm not sure. I think I lost the tag for this one. I don't see a tag for this one at all. But this one on the left is, look at me trying to read this. I think this is a sunrise bumblebee tomato. But I'm not 100% sure. Oh no, yeah. That is a sunrise bumblebee tomato. I was correct. Next to that container, we have one with, this is a cucumber. I don't exactly know which kind. I just know what kinds I have. My cucumbers are the plants that I have failed at keeping the tags with because I started with one row of each kind and I only put one tag in the back of the row rather than putting a tag in each container. So I don't know exactly what kinds they are, but I know what kind of cucumbers I have planted. So when they start fruiting, I'll know which ones they are based on what the fruit look like. So in this container here, this red one is where we were. I have green beans and cucumbers. It's the same deal with the green beans. I don't exactly know which ones are which is sad. Last year I did the same thing with my green beans and I said that this year I wouldn't do that, but I have. But these are bush beans, so I will have to replant multiple successions of them and then I'll try to be better. But look at these tiny baby green beans! Oh my gosh! This is the first time I've seen these also. I haven't been in the garden in a couple days. Today's my first day off work for the week, so. And then this is an Alaska mix variegated nasturtium. It's just in a container right now. I do need to plant it out. That's why it's out here. But we have this cucumber, and the rest of these are green beans. In this container, continuing down the line, we have Swiss chard and lacinato kale. At the very bottom, we did have some parsley growing in here, but I was stupid and put it under very large leafy greens, so it got shaded out and died. So we just have the Swiss chard and some kale plants in the back. So this is the row we just went down, and now I'm going to move that way towards the greenhouse. So next in the row, next to the chard and kale, is this one, which is mostly just kale. And then this parsley plant, and this is oregano over here. If I sound confused, it's because I am. I don't know what this white stuff is. It's fluffy. It's foamy. Yeah, I don't know what that is. If anybody has any idea what this white stuff is on my parsley, let me know. I would appreciate it. Oh, there's a moth. Go away, moth. So yeah, that's triple curled parsley, and most of this is dazzling blue kale. Some of it is lacinato kale, and that is Italian oregano down on the side. So there's kind of a quadrant of buckets here. I'm going to go ahead and include these ones in the side. So this is 2 more cucumbers and just a bunch more green beans. So this is a cucumber, and this is a cucumber that got transplant shock pretty bad that I'm hoping comes back. Oh, there's 3. That's also a cucumber. Actually, those could be melons. I'm not 100% certain. And then all of these are just different kinds of green beans. Now we are to our pea trellises, and I will tell you about the peas from this side, and then when we get to the other side, I'll tell you about the other plants that are in them. So this one is all spring blush peas. Those are the ones that I've been making shorts about that have the pink color on them. And yes, these are flopping over and doing ridiculous things. My trellises are obviously not tall enough for them. Let me try to find a pink one. Here. So these spring blush peas have a pink color toward the inside of them. So like they start out just fully green like this, and then they start dappling in slowly and getting the pink color. It seems to me, doesn't say it on the variety or anything, but it seems to me that the more sunlight reaches them, the pinker they get. I just got a text I gotta answer, so give me a minute. Okay, I answered my text, now back to the peas. All of these ones are the spring blush peas, the ones that turn pink. Right now, most of them are green. This one has a little bit of pink coming in that you can kind of see on it. And then these ones are the sugar bun snap peas. This one's been on there for a while, I guess. I don't know which one I prefer. There's a little spider web in here. That's so cool. Thank you, Mr. Spider. I don't know which one I prefer. I've not eaten a lot of either of them, but I will let you guys know. Next in the row is this shallow container, and that is garlic. That is just garlic that I saved from the grocery store and planted in December, so it has a couple months left, and that actually should be ready. I pulled one out not terribly long ago, and it had a small marble-sized garlic on the end, so we'll see how those do. These two buckets next to the greenhouse are my potatoes. So these ones are planted more shallow, and I probably should, or I already planned to, and I'm trying to hold myself to that plan, that I'm going to move the mulch from these, add more soil, and then put the mulch back to try and get a better yield. I just didn't have enough soil when planting, and this one is filled all the way to the top, and the potatoes are planted very close to the bottom, so both of these are doing really good. I'm very surprised at how fast the potatoes have grown. They look amazing, so that's great. And then the last one in this line with the peas, this is another shallow container that I recently planted with this lettuce. So this is probably, I don't know exactly which kind. I know I planted Paris Island COS romaine, as well as Buttercrunch butterhead lettuce, and maybe one other kind that I'm not remembering, but those are just different kinds of lettuce around the outside. This in the middle is an Ozark Beauty strawberry, and this is some triple curled parsley over on the side. Okay, so like I said, we started at that white bucket in the corner, went all the way around on that side, did those 4 buckets and came this way. I already said the potatoes, the garlic, and this one, so now we're gonna go this way and look at what's in these containers. We'll go to the inside to look at these containers, and then I'll go back out that way. So in this one here, we have pink zinnias. I don't know exactly what variety those are right now. I don't remember. I think I did a mixed color zinnia, so it might just literally be my mixed color ones. I'm not sure. I will put it on the screen here if I do end up remembering. But this is a zinnia. I did pinch the head off of this one, and this is the one I planted out first. So I already have 3 blooms on it, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, at least 8 more coming in on that one. So that's been super productive, and I've seen a lot of pollinators and stuff in my garden, so I'm hoping that having these flowers in here this year will help. Here's a little pepper down here with it. This is a California Wonder bell pepper, so the same one as the one that we saw over there that I'm going to compare to later in the season. Mine looks pretty green, if I do say so myself. And then we have another pepper on this side, and this one is an Anaheim pepper. So that's more of like a Mexican pepper. It is spicy, but not terribly spicy. This is the tomato that I just showed you guys how to trellis, and this is a Thorburns terracotta tomato, and there are lots of very healthy looking flowers on this one, but no fruit yet. So next down the line in this container, we have a container in the container, which is this is a Sunbright bell pepper, so a yellow bell pepper. And I just have this sitting here to deter cats and things from digging in my soil. It does need to be planted out. This one in the ground next to it is a Sugar Rush Peach Hot Pepper. I plan to make peach hot sauce with that this summer based on the recipe from Becky at Acre Homestead, so I hope that's going to be good. Everything that I've made from her so far has been good, so I trust it. This is a California Wonder bell pepper that terribly needs to be planted out, but it's sitting outside. And this is some more triple curled parsley. Oh, and this is a Craig's Grande jalapeno. This did get root bound in the pot, just like this one. So it's probably going to take a while to bounce back before looking anything like these ones that were planted out on time. So if you're trying to ask the difference between a pepper that was planted out on time and then root bound, stunted, this is the difference. Planted out on time, root bound and stunted, but started as seed at the same time. So that's that bed. And this next one over here, this is another zinnia. This one stayed in the greenhouse for a lot longer than that pink one and got some slug damage on the leaves, but there is new growth still coming from the bottom, so I do have hopes that those will come back perfectly fine. There's a pepper here that I honestly don't know what it is. I don't see a tag around it, and that's my bad, but we'll figure it out when it grows. This pepper is a Craig's Grande jalapeno, and this little one here is an Anaheim pepper. This tomato is one of the ones in containers that I don't know if I'm going to actually put it in my garden or not, but it is really tall and needs to be planted if it's going to be planted. Let me see if I can tell what that says. Yeah, and I have no idea what that says, so I don't know what kind of tomato it is. It got sun bleached, so... Yeah, it got sun bleached, so I can't tell what that says. I could probably look back in videos of me pointing out what kind they are when they were inside, and it will probably tell me, so I'll look up what kind that is. Oh my gosh! Guys, I finally have a nasturtium. This is the first flower that has bloomed on my nasturtiums. I've been so excited to grow these. Oh my gosh, I think these are gorgeous. I love the shape of the leaves. I love the variegation. I love the veins in them. The flowers are frickin' gorgeous. I wonder if they smell good. Oh, they do smell good. They actually do kind of smell good. That's pretty crazy. A lot of flowers that you think smell nice don't actually smell nice. It's when you buy them, they spray them with perfumes and stuff, and that's what makes them smell good. But that actually smells good. I grew that myself. I know it's not sprayed. That smells good. I'm so excited. That's awesome. These are going to be my new favorite flowers. I know it. So here we have nasturtiums, 2 tomatillo plants, and some carrots. But I am out of time, so hopefully we'll finish the rest of this tour soon. It's about an hour later. I'm sure the lighting is different. I'm not sure if it's better or worse, but it is what we have. So I think I left off right here at this nasturtium that is starting to vine out and has a flower on it. I'm so happy about this flower, you guys. It's gorgeous too, and it's edible if you didn't know. The flowers and leaves of this is edible. They taste kind of spicy, like kind of like a radish, like black peppery kind of flavor. Then down here in this container is some carrots. This is the carrot here. This is just weeds right here that I need to take out. So we'll do that real fast. So yeah, there's 2 tomatillo plants in here. And then, oh, I forgot. There's a cilantro plant right here that doesn't quite get enough sun, I think. I'm going to plant some more cilantro soon because I think most of them died and that one's not getting enough sun. One of them over here is doing well enough. But now we're going to go around the inside of the trellises here. So right here we have strawberries. I do not know what specific kind of strawberries they are. My mom got them for me from an auction. But it is producing quite a few flowers, which will then be berries. This one already has some berries on it. This one over here, because it's 2 plants, this plant has made berries and flowers, but this one hasn't made any flowers so far, so I don't know what's up with that. I think this might be a runner, and if it is, then that will be a whole new strawberry plant, so I hope that's what's happening. A lot of the tomatillos on here are getting close to harvestable size. I already harvested one, but one doesn't give you much. This whole container is carrots. I think they're all one kind of carrot, but I don't exactly remember what kind. I'll have to look back in a video and let you guys know. I'll put it on the screen if I can find that. Then on the inside of these pea trellises that I said I would show you, we have my cucumbers. I, once again, do not know what specific kind of cucumbers these are. But I will be able to know when they start producing cucumbers by the shape and color and size of them. So those are each going to get a string going all the way up to this trellis here. And they'll be able to grow up and over that trellis, an umbrella trellis. The cucumbers as well as the tomatoes. And then in this one, this is kaleidoscope perennial kale that I need to trim back to only one plant because it is very thick right now. There tends to be a lot of roly-polies in this container, this specific one, and I don't know why. But they don't hurt my plants too much, so I'm not really upset about it. This is Italian oregano, and I don't know why this one is so much taller than all the other ones that I have, but I'm fine with it. This is triple curled parsley, and that is triple curled parsley also. Here's another look at those pink peas. Well, this side of these ones are pretty pink. Yeah. That's a better look than it was earlier. Nice. So after we went back around the inside, we are back to this row, coming this way, back towards where we started. So this is a honey nut squash, I think, which is like a personal sized version of a butternut squash. These here are more cucumbers, and maybe, I think this one's actually a melon. Yeah, this one's a melon. This is Golden Jenny melon, and I'm not sure what kind of cucumbers these are. This one actually has a tag, that's how I knew. This is a sad looking zucchini that my mom bought me that terribly needs water. But it is just called it said dark black zucchini on it. Are those little zucchinis? I don't know. I need to water that. Then this kind of looks like a mess because this tomato is in a container and just like flopped over on top of the edge of these containers, and this tomato is doing the same thing. So like it's in a container down there but just growing up onto the container here. Then there's a pot with a pepper in it that's just sitting on top of this container. And then this is sitting inside the container, so it just looks a mess. But I'll try to get you through it here. So like this one, I'm just going to drape over this way to kind of show you what's actually in this container. This is not part of that. It goes over there. So in here, actually planted in this large container, is 2 tomatoes, a nasturtium, and a snapdragon. This is a dwarf variety of snapdragon. I don't remember exactly what color. The tag is in the greenhouse, so I will let you know in a minute. And then this is my Alaska mix variegated nasturtiums, the same as the other ones I have, just I planted them out later. This tomato is... I don't think I know what this tomato is. I will know once it starts making fruit though. And I also think I do not know what this tomato is. So these are 2 question mark tomatoes. I think this one is a cherry tomato, so it's probably Sunrise Bumblebee. That one? I'm pretty sure it is. I think that's right. And then I think this one is Costoluto Genovese, actually. I'll look back in the video and try to see which one that one is too, but this one has fruit on it, actually. So this one isn't trellised up. It's just leaning on the one next to it that is trellised up. So I'll move that momentarily to show you this one, which has the most fruit on it so far, and the largest fruit. It's on kind of the back side, but we have 3 tomatoes on this one. That biggest one is probably about the size of a golf ball, and so is that one there, about the size of a golf ball. So I hope that those will be my first, well, those won't be my first ripe tomatoes. They'll be my first slicer tomatoes that are ripe, probably, of the season. Because I do have some cherry tomatoes already growing that you saw already. Those will definitely be ripe before the slicer tomatoes. So I'm gonna put this guy back where he was. Like that. That's good enough. These ones in containers do need to be watered. Definitely, I see that. But the sun did just go down, so I'll be able to water them after this video. In this container, we have Italian oregano down here on the edge, which is doing very well. Oh, here's a weed right in the middle of it. Pull that out. Oh, there's quite a few of them. No, goodbye weeds. Then this is a Genovese basil here, which has quite a bit of damage and is growing kind of funny, but that'll be fine. He'll still grow. Then we have some carrots over here, which I think are actually starting to, yeah, look at that. It's actually a tiny carrot. Let's see if this one is. Yeah, you can see that there's actually orange carrot growing down there, so I'll recover those. Take out these little weeds. So there's, I think 4 carrots planted right there. I think some of them are atomic red. I'm not sure if all of them are. Then this tomato here is an atomic grape tomato, Brad's atomic grape tomato. And this one is that's the carrot tag actually. So these are atomic red carrots and imperator carrots. I'm not sure how many of each. This is a Brad's atomic grape tomato, and this tomato is a Castelluto Genovese tomato. This one doesn't look the greatest, but he's still producing flowers. It's doing good, so I'm fine with it. This next container has some lettuce. I think this is a Butter Crunch Butterhead lettuce. I could probably eat that anytime. It's sewn pretty close together, so it's probably not going to head up properly, but that's okay. I don't mind. This is another tomatillo. I don't think I said earlier what kind of tomatillos they are. They are Rio Grande Verde tomatillos, and I didn't know. I've never grown tomatillos before this year, and I didn't know how big they would get. So this one is already taking up quite a large amount of space, like versus my hand. That's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's like 6 of my hands just for the top of that tomatillo plant. This one is like drooping out of the bucket, and they have a trellis in the middle, and it's just going out in all directions. There's 2 plants in that container. They're just crazy. I didn't realize they would get that big. I'm okay with it though. I'll just make a lot of green salsa. It'll be fantastic. So, next to the tomatillo in here, we have some more triple curled parsley. I love parsley, if you couldn't tell. And then this is a copper red straw flower that has not bloomed yet. It's just been getting fairly tall. It has a couple blooms, or places where I think blooms are going to be on it, but nothing close to actually flowering yet. This is another Genovese basil, and then this tomato is another Brad's atomic grape tomato. There's a sucker on there that needs its own string when it gets bigger, but it's not quite big enough yet. Now I will take you guys and show you what is kind of left in the greenhouse. Most of this stuff really needs to be planted out. There's a couple things in here that are in big enough pots that they're okay, but a lot of the things in here was started fairly early and really needs to be planted out there. Today is my first day off this week, so I have tomorrow and the next day to do more garden chores, which I will try to take you guys along for. But here's what's going on in the greenhouse. Starting on the right side, we have the 2 other strawberry plants. Just like I said, I pruned off the dead leaves from me letting them get too dry and just, continue to take care of them. And new leaves have grown. I probably stunted them a little bit, but they'll still be okay. These 2 plants here, I actually bought this morning. My love bug asked if we could go to the store before I went to work, and I was like, yeah, sure. I didn't know what for, so we went to the store, and he said he saw that the plants at the grocery store were on sale, and he wanted to see if there was any that I wanted. So I got this shishito pepper, which I'm super excited about, and I'm going to probably save seeds from. And then this is a hosta, and I don't know what this is with the hosta. That has kind of these serrated leaves. Like, that's obviously not a hosta, but I have no idea what it is. So I'll probably try and separate that out of it, and I'll let it grow because I kind of want to see what it is. It looks like it might be a flowering plant, but I'm not sure. And then to the left, we just have a jumble of peppers that are way overgrown out of their pots and really need to be planted out. Some of them less than others. Like, this one looks way worse than these 2 do, but all of them do need to be planted. But these are Sunbright bell peppers. We've got California Wonder bell peppers, Craig's Grande jalapenos, and some Anaheim peppers. I think that's all the kinds. Then this here is green beans growing up my greenhouse, which isn't great. These are pole beans that I planted in containers and haven't planted out yet. And if you've grown pole beans before, you will know that they grow pretty quickly. And if you do start them in containers, you need to make it a priority to plant them out, which I did not do, obviously, because they're still right here. So these are now just growing up the sides of my greenhouse. So I'll try to get these planted out as soon as possible, but yeah, I have some soil. I should probably prioritize planting these specifically, since I do have some soil. But in with these, there's also some sugar pie pumpkins that terribly need water. I will come water these later tonight. And then this is lavender. And these kind of beans these are Blue Lake pole beans, Rattlesnake pole beans, Kentucky Wonder pole beans, and Cherokee yellow wax bean. Yes, that's correct. So this is the group of big boy tomatoes that I was telling you guys about. I read big boy on the tag right there. So the small container outside represents the big boy tomato, and the larger container outside represents the better boy tomato. So there's that. These 2 here are Sugar Rush peach peppers that I put into gallon containers instead of letting them get overgrown in their 2.5-inch pots. And they're doing great. They're actually starting to flower, which is fantastic. And they're not getting too much bug damage, even though they're in the greenhouse, which is where the other plants got a lot of bug damage. Here to the left is some more flowers. Like I said, I am going to water tonight, but these have obviously terribly outgrown their containers. I probably will also start some more flowers when I start the cilantro and parsley. Probably not more parsley. I think I have enough parsley, but I'll start more cilantro and basil, and I'll probably start some more flowers as well. These are sunflowers. These ones actually aren't that old. They just need water, so they're actually doing fine. They do need planted out, but they're not terribly root bound. They're just a little bit tall. But they just need water. That's why they're droopy like this. And then in the back here, we have some jalapeno peppers and some habanada peppers, and then some Clemson spineless okra down this row. And yeah, that's Clemson spineless okra there. And we have 1 container of oregano. And over here they are zinnias and straw flowers. This one is a Zahara double bright zinnia. This one is not going to come back. That one's obviously dead. This one's actually the most moist, so I don't know what happened to that one. Too much bug damage and just couldn't survive or something, but that's okay. I'm going to start some more flowers. Then in the middle right here we have, I think these are just called large red cherry tomatoes, and I am going to plant some of these out and probably sell some. They are a little bit leggy, but not terrible. This is some bok choy that I was hoping I could grow and get a round of before it got too hot, but the weather has been so up and down that it has not done well. I'm probably just going to compost those and put the soil in my extra soil bucket. These are some watermelons that I've had for too long in these containers. My mom bought them and brought them to me, but I couldn't plant them out when she did bring them, and I had plants that were bigger and I was more worried about. I have seeds for this exact type of watermelon and not this one, but I do still think that I can grow these. They are going to be fairly stunted, but we'll see what happens. This is a flower that I got from the river. I had my love dig it up and we took it home and I planted it in here, and it's doing pretty well. Some of it has died back, but it's done better than I expected it to, actually. These flowers are dead. I need to deadhead it, but it's been periodically flowering and doing pretty good. These are two more of the same kind of nasturtiums. They are the Alaska mix variegated nasturtiums, same as the other two plants that I have outside. Oh, these ones have blooms on them. How cute. I love them. And then these are the more of those dwarf snapdragons. So they are Snapshot red dwarf snapdragons. That's what they're called. And this here is some chocolate mint that my friend's dad had growing. Well, he planted it and had it growing in his yard, and he dug up a chunk for me the other day when my friend came over, and she brought it to me. So I have some. Oh, I almost fell. So I have some chocolate mint growing. Yeah, I think that's everything in the greenhouse. I might plant those Sugar Rush peach peppers out into 5-gallon buckets and see how they do instead of trying to plant them in my containers. That hosta is probably going to go into one of those, like, they were square-ish cement containers that I've showed you guys before, and go, like, next to my front door, so that'll be super cute. And I desperately need to plant out those beans. Alright guys, I do think we covered everything. That is everything that's outside. I'm not going to do the inside garden tour this time. It is kind of a mess in there. I'll clean it up and show you guys on the next one. Or maybe on a different video in between now and then, because I do need to pot some things up and transplant some things in there. But that is my full garden tour for the end of May. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and let me know. Really appreciate you guys watching. Please like and subscribe the video if you want to see more from me, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye guys.